All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we'll give our praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash Bakatham. Double honor to the apostle and the elder great millstone, and to Allah can cut the globe, pushing the word of truth and sincerity. Want to say Shalom. Genesis 4:13. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Let me get all right. Genesis 4:13. And Cain said unto the Lord Yahweh, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Now we all know the story of Cain slaying Abel. All right, and the Lord he cursed him. All right, he cursed the land, he cursed the ground. That's why the earth is not fulfilling its potential because of the curse of Cain. All right. And Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou drew me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. It shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. And this is the beginning, it was already declared from the beginning, that a man, Esau Edom, all right, which is so-called white man, is hidden from the Lord, all right? He's a fugitive and a vagabond. He said, ye have banished me from the land and from your presence. You have made me a homeless wanderer. Anyone that finds me will kill me, right, man? And you go to the Mount Seir, you go to Edom's land, it's barren, all right? There's no habitation, there's no land that's able to sustain them. All right, that's why he goes from land to land, conquering and coveting fields and conquering and coveting people's heritages. All right, he has no home. He's not a keeper at home. All right, he's a fugitive. Well, you go that word fugitive real quick. He's gonna be a fugitive and a vagabond, right? Fugitive, why? Because he's a murderer, man. All right, a fugitive. Let me see if I got the right word. Fugitive. To quiver, totter, shake, reel, stagger, swing, stagger, be unstable. All right. To toss about, to shake, cause it to disturb, to cause to wonder. All right. When you're a fugitive, all right, you're running from the law, you're running from justice. Okay. And Esau knows, even the law wasn't written down, we knew not to murder. All right. When he said, thou shalt not kill, said, thou shalt not murder, Cain murdered Abel. Why? Because the Lord accepted Abel's sacrifice, all right, of meat and not of vegetables and fruit. All right. It says, and it shall come to pass, everyone that find me shall slay me, right? Because eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, man. But the Lord said what? He said, and plus, right, he's always trying to run from his judgment. Okay? That's why he's trying to put on a covering that's not him. Trying to say that that he's the Israelite, he's the Lord's people. All right, because he don't want to face his judgment. All right, he's running from judgment. All right, and the Lord said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken upon him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, as any man finding him should kill him. All right, that mark was a mark of leprosy, man. All right, void of pigment, void of melanin. There's only one person on the earth that's void of pigment, void of melanin, man. That's why he was scared to go about, because he knew that that people were looking for him. But the point is that the Lord turning him leprous, all right, made a distinction of who he is. All right, this is the man that's marked and cursed from the Lord. All right, and the Lord is going to take judgment upon this man. All right, not us. That's why we're waiting patiently. All right, for this man to be brought to justice. He's a criminal, man. All right. Esau has always ran away from his judgment, man. Always trying to run away from his punishment, trying to hide who he is. Genesis 25 and 13. Uh, 13, hold on. It's Genesis 25 and 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb. Let's get up. It said, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? She went to inquire of the Lord, right, man? All right. She had conceived two seeds, or two nations were in her womb, all right? The nation of Israel and the nation of Edom, all right? Jacob and Esau. The Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manners of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger, right? So who's stronger? All right, we already know that Jake, the Israelites, the Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes, all right, are the dominant nation on the earth, man. All right, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and called his name Esau. All right, red like a hairy garment, man. Okay, and we know the symbol for red like a murderer. All right. It says, eldest son of Isaac and Rebekah and twin brother Jacob sold the birthright for food when he was hungry, and divine blessing went to Jacob, progenitor of the Arab peoples. That word Arab just means mixed, right? Let's not get it twisted like uh, Jacob is Israelite, right, and not Ishmael. Right, here we go. And let's don't get to the point. I got much time. It's Genesis 25 and 29. Because the whole point is that he's all going to captivity. Right, he's running from his judgment, and he can't take the judgment that's been put upon him for the things that he had done. This is Genesis 25 and 29. And Jacob saw the pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And we know Esau's a mighty hunter, man. Right? Let's just look at any hunting TV show or whatever, right? Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. All right. And Jacob says, tell me this day thy birthright. So this was a business transaction. Okay. Jacob was cooking pottage, right? Esau was hungry from hunting all day, to where he couldn't be patient enough to wait for the food to get done. All right, that he sold his birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am to the point to die. What profit shall his birthright do to me? Because Esau is a one and now individual, man. Everything's right now. And that's the way the world is in its spirit. They want things right now, right? Jacob said, swear to me this day, and he swore unto him and sold his birthright unto Jacob. All right, so he sold his birthright. All right, and now he wants the birthright back. All right, because you know the promises that the Lord made to Jacob. All right, you know Esau never was able to face the choices or the actions of it. He was never able to face the consequences of his actions, man. All right, he murdered Abel. I didn't want to face that because he ran from the Lord. Lord put a mark on him. He ran around the earth, wandering from place to place. All right, being a vagabond and an outcast. He's the real outcast. All right, and as Esau, which we know Cain and Esau are the same people. You know, he sold his birthright. All right, and now that he's about to face the judgment of his decisions, which is already predetermined by the Lord that we're going to get the birthright, but yet and still, all right, he can't take it, man. All right, and he's upset that that the Lord put him by. So what? He said he put by Esau. Let's get that. Um, it says, let there be any fornicator or profane person, person is Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears, man. So after he sold it, he wanted it back, you know, and he can't get it back. And he's upset about it. That's why he's trying to go out to the heavens and measure the earth, measure the space, go down to the ocean and try to measure how deep it is. All right, trying to um, uh, get his birthright back. You know, and if he was able to do those things, the Lord said, "What he'll cut off Israel from being a people." But that's not possible. It's not going to happen, man. All right. It's Luke 16:01. The point I want to get Luke 16:01 said, and he said unto the disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of thee, give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward, right, man? Esau got to give an account to the Lord, man. All right, what have you done with the power that I gave you, man? But kill, steal, and destroy. All right. It says, then the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my Lord take away from you stewardship. I cannot dig into to beg. I'm ashamed, bro. Esau's not built for work. He's not built for the judgment that laid upon him from the decisions and choices that he made, man. For him being Esau, for him being an Edomite. All right, they can't take it, man. They can't take the burden and the judgment of the Lord, man. Unaliving themselves and not able to live off scraps like Jacob's able to, you know. And it shows, man. It shows in their voicing of opinions, you know, blaming everything on the immigrants, blaming us for being on welfare. We're the ones on welfare the most, man. You know. So Edom has a lot to pay for. This is I'm gonna get this. Psalm 149:8, Lord, well, I can get this quick. Psalm 149:8, it says to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people, to bind the king with chains and the noble with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all the saints, praise you the Lord, man. All right, so you're going in slavery, man. All right, you're going into captivity, thus saith the Lord. So you're gonna be in captivity with them heavy chains on doing digging, digging. All right, building up our kingdom, man. All right. Verse 10 it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints, man. All right, so you're not gonna be able to run from your judgment, man. All right, you ran as Cain, you ran as Esau. All right, and now you're trying to run again, man. But your judgment is coming. All right, you're not gonna be able to turn back the judgment of the Lord that He has ordained for you to have. All right, you know your sin has reached into heaven, man. You know the Lord's gonna bring you down with a mighty arm. You know. So with that one, say, call halal, Yabashim outside. Double honor to your apostle and elder great millstone. Until next time, shalom and a blah, blah, blah.